Now here's a question. Why do leaders visit war zones? It's extremely risky. But the advantages of visiting a front outweigh the risks. While visiting a war zone or a front line may be unusual for an Indian leader, in the West, it's almost a tradition. The trips are marked by secrecy, and in most cases, the world only finds out about visits after the leaders have left the high-risk zone.
A VVIP at a flashpoint. Meeting and greeting the troops. An address to the men and women in uniform, just miles away from the front line. While all of this is unusual in India, in the West, it is a tradition. From Eisenhower to Tony Blair and Trump, leaders have often visited fronts. Many of these visits were on Thanksgiving Day. The question often asked is why? Why do leaders visit a high-risk zone? One leaked secret, one fired bullet, and it could spell disaster. A war would break out. A war has broken out. So why take the risk? The answer is simple. The advantages of these visits outweigh the risk. George W. Bush pulled off something unprecedented in 2003. He was the first US president to land in Iraq. That too, just months after Saddam Hussein's statue was toppled. It was Thanksgiving Day. Bush was supposed to be at his ranch in Texas. But no one, including the people on board his Air Force One, knew that the president was headed to a high-tension front, Baghdad. The Air Force One landed in the war zone with its cabin lights turned off and its window shades down. What followed was this: food, laughter, and cheers. This Thanksgiving visit gave a much-needed morale boost to the US troops. It also sent a message to the world that, by the way, found out about the visit only after Bush had left Iraq. A leader's visit to a war zone cannot be ever seen from a single fold. The purpose is multiple every time. The visits definitely instill confidence in the armed forces. Those deployed thousands of miles away from their loved ones and fighting fire every day. Afghanistan makes a good example here. It is the United States' longest war. Recent US presidents have made repeated visits. Barack Obama traveled multiple times, twice in 2010. Donald Trump's visit to Afghanistan this Thanksgiving Day gave the troops a much-needed pat on the back. The selfies, the bonding over food. These visits are also important for their messaging to the enemy, the world, and also the people back home. The focus isn't much on what a leader says while standing beside the men in uniform. The very fact that he's standing there by his troops speaks 1,000 words. It reflects daring leadership, the willingness to take risks, and it is a hallmark of trust between the armed forces and the leadership. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi was not bound by the constitution to visit Ladakh or his troops at the front line. None of his predecessors ever has. In India, the Prime Minister is not the Commander-in-Chief of the armed forces. The President is. But Prime Minister Modi's visit to Ladakh may have started a new tradition. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.